Well, let me ask you this. What I want you to talk to her. What if she told me that you beat the out of her and you jumped on top of her and started punching her in the face? Should I just go ahead and take that? Yeah, but don't you know? It's your side of the story. Give your side.
All these prescriptions, but you want to be great. Being great is really pushing the envelope. You know what I'm saying?
Gervonta Tank Davis has finally broken his silence after shocking reports of his arrest and the stunning cancellation of his highly anticipated showdown with Jake Paul. What was once one of boxing's most hyped events has now taken a dark and unexpected twist. According to new reports, Davis is now facing a civil lawsuit alleging serious incidents of domestic violence. His legal team has chosen to stay silent for now, while the entire boxing community watches with bated breath. So far, Davis's coach and inner circle have issued only cautious, carefully worded statements, leaving fans and media outlets to piece together the truth. Meanwhile, Jake Paul's massive November 14th event hangs in uncertainty as promoters rush to uncover the facts and decide whether the show can still go on.
It's a lightweight. So, by all means, if they make a few quid and nobody gets hurt, then great. But I certainly wouldn't be paying a penny to watch it. I think it's just absolutely ridiculous, farcical. Who wants to watch an exhibition? Gervonta Davis is in his prime years. Why is he wasting his time? Why is that having a rematch for the fella he got a draw with? Why is he not fighting? Why not going up a weight and fighting Lopez and Garcia's and them fighting? Why is he fighting Jake Paul in an exhibition? I get the money's great, but he's in the prime years. This is the best year. This is where he can become. Maybe you don't want to be an all-time winner. Maybe you don't want to do all. So maybe
The court filings in Miami-Dade County, Gervonta Davis now faces a series of serious accusations, including battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. It's a list of claims that could have devastating consequences for his career, both inside and outside the ring. Although the case remains a civil matter for now, the sheer weight of these allegations has already sent shockwaves through the sports world. As of this moment, no new criminal charges have been officially filed, but the storm of public scrutiny surrounding Davis continues to grow by the day. Interview
WBC lightweight world champion Gervonta Tank Davis was arrested earlier this week for closed fist slapping his daughter's mother. What's a closed fist slap? Is it like this? Bro, you can't be closed fist slapping women. You can't be slapping women at all. But don't you know your hand is like Thor's hammer? Bro, you can go to jail for even flicking somebody, man. Don't you got a fight coming up? Or are you trying to ruin your career?
Gervonta Davis has avoided making any detailed public statement. His camp appears intent on controlling the narrative, speaking only through carefully measured comments. In one of the few public remarks, Davis's coach simply stated that Tank is doing great and that they're trying to figure out what's going on. But that vague response only deepened the mystery and fueled speculation. Meanwhile, Most Valuable Promotions, Jake Paul's company, confirmed it has launched an internal investigation into the allegations. In their official statement, they condemned all forms of violence, stressed the importance of due process, and promised to reach a final decision once all facts are verified. Technically, the fight still remains on the schedule, but behind the scenes, the situation appears far less certain. Sources close to the event claim that the November 14th bout has already been quietly canceled, not postponed. Sports journalist DA even posted on X saying, "I'm about 80% sure the event's off." Originally set for Atlanta's State Farm Arena before being moved to Miami, the matchup had all the ingredients of a blockbuster. A perfect collision of old-school boxing prestige and modern viral spectacle. But now that dream event may never see the light of day. Interview
When a fairly novice Jake Paul made a wish list of future opponents, and right in the middle of that list was Gervonta Tank Davis. Many laughed at the time, and some still can't believe we're here. But these two young men are the face of boxing for Gen Z and Gen Alpha. They are the two biggest boxers in America, and they're putting it all on the line. One has the speed, the skill, the accuracy, and the one-punch knockout power. The other has the size, the force, and the unbreakable confidence to make this must-see Netflix. The size difference is
From the very start, the matchup between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul had fans fiercely debating fairness and rules. Davis, a lightweight champion who typically fights around 135 to 140 pounds, was stepping into unfamiliar territory against Paul, a natural cruiserweight. According to the fight contract, the upper weight limit was set at 195 pounds with 12-ounce gloves, a setup that clearly favored Paul's size and power. Davis didn't hesitate to voice his concerns, publicly questioning the fairness of the bout and calling it more of an entertainment spectacle than a true test of boxing skill. Still, controversy only fueled anticipation. The fight was shaping up to be one of the biggest crossover events in recent boxing history, a clash that could redefine the sport's modern era.
Watch is Tank Davis versus Jake Paul. I want Tank Davis to knock his block off. I'm sick of the Paul brothers, both of them. I can't stand either one of them. And I know I'll get tired with emails. He's just jealous. Oh, I'm not jealous of them. I could care less how much money they make. I don't like their attitude. I don't like the way they conduct themselves. I don't like the way they think.
Online, fans were deeply divided. Many accused Gervonta Davis of chasing money over legacy, arguing that he was avoiding elite challengers like Shakur Stevenson or Teofimo Lopez in favor of an easy, high-paying celebrity fight. Critics claimed it was yet another example of boxing's troubling shift, where fame and pay-per-view sales now outweigh sporting integrity. But Davis's supporters saw things differently. They argued that stepping into the ring with Jake Paul wasn't selling out. It was smart business, a move that could catapult Davis beyond the boxing world, introducing him to a massive global audience and breathing new life into the sport itself.
Don't fight no Shakur Stevenson, no Keyshawn Davis, no Teofimo Lopez, no none of them dudes. You know what I'm talking about? We gotta think and look at Tank Davis's whole career. He done made some bread, but at the end of the day, all that bread that he made, when it's all said and done, he ain't gonna get no respect from his peers because we gonna look down his resume and we gonna be like, he was trash, he was some trash, he was some trash, he was all right, but he was never like that. He was okay. He was some trash, he was some trash. He ain't.
It's worth noting that Gervonta Davis was originally expected to rematch Lamont Roach after their first meeting ended in a controversial draw. That fight was supposed to settle unfinished business and reaffirm Davis's dominance in the ring. But everything changed when the Jake Paul offer came along, a staggering $50 million deal that immediately shifted priorities. The promise of record-breaking money and worldwide exposure was simply too tempting to ignore. Even respected analysts like Stephen A. Smith have pointed out the new reality of boxing. Legacy fights often take a back seat to high-profile crossover events. For Davis, this wasn't just about the paycheck. It was about opportunity, a once-in-a-lifetime chance to step onto the biggest stage imaginable and connect with millions far beyond the traditional boxing audience.
Division where he's got killers all in his division. You know, Shakur, Haney, who's 147. You know, you're looking at Tio, for example, Keyshawn, and then you choose to fight someone like Paul. Surely that's a concern when you do look at it like that.
Yeah, but again, it's the well-being. If you can get huge amount of money to fight someone who's never boxed really before, you're going to do it. You know, Floyd Mayweather boxed Logan Paul with a huge weight disparity.
He was done by then.
I know.
He was done. Like, this is an active.
No, I know, but it's the well-being.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. You know, when it comes down to it, it's just like Conor McGregor fighting Floyd Mayweather. Two completely different sports. It was the biggest pay-per-view in recent times, wasn't it? Maybe if ever.
Those are like different comparisons, though. If you think about it, do you not like?
Yeah, but the sport's in a wild place, isn't it? That's just, I'm just like the reality of where we are, you know. And I can't really say much when we're talking about Jake Paul fighting Anthony Joshua at the same time.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you think Tank should get stripped of his title?
Yeah, I think anyone who, just in general, doesn't defend their title to do something else should get stripped because it shouldn't hold the belts up. You know, in any, like, I think that should be the reality in anything. You know, if you're not going to defend your belts, or you're not defending, sometimes there's the rules. Obviously, if you fight for a belt at a higher weight, you can retain the belt until there. But if you're not, don't have intention of defending the belts, you shouldn't hold the belts up. People should get the opportunity to fight for them.
What happened with the failed negotiations between AJ and Jake Paul?
I think anything's still possible. That was always discussed for next year. You know, this fight's November, early part of next year.
World champion Carl Froch didn't hold back. He called the entire situation an absolute joke. Froch revealed that Jake Paul was this close to signing a fight with Anthony Joshua, a deal reportedly 99% complete, before abruptly pivoting to Gervonta Davis instead. For Froch, that decision said it all. In his view, Paul is chasing maximum publicity with minimum risk. He questioned the logic of fighting someone nearly half his size rather than testing himself against legitimate heavyweights. Froch's blunt criticism echoed a growing sentiment across the boxing world, that Jake Paul's matchmaking is driven less by competition and more by clicks, controversy, and spectacle.
So, but the fight against Jake Paul ain't gonna happen anyway. It ain't gonna happen. We can all believe it. Jake Paul.
Eddie Hearn said it's 99% done.
Because you know what? Jake Paul's done a great job in hustling at it.
Yeah.
He's gonna get so either Eddie's in on it or he's let this young man hustling.
Yeah.
And so the kids kidded the kidders.
Well, listen, we've had a chat, we've caught up, we'll have another chat as well in a...
We'll do some sunbathing, man.
Sunbathing, top of the town.
Yes, I do.
Well.
Black is the number.
Let us know in the comments below who you think wins the fight and what Anthony Joshua should be doing next. Do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know in the comments below. This has been another episode of Froch on Fighting. Got the main man here, Johnny Nelson, aka
Blick Man.
We'll see. You said it, not me. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
Just here at Los Naranjos in Vida, España, and I found out that Gervonta Davis is now fighting Jake Paul. So Jake Paul was supposed to be fighting AJ. Eddie Hearn announced 99% done, which we've just spoke about. What next for AJ? Potentially Jake Paul. But it now looks like that Jake Paul is fighting one of Anthony Joshua's legs. He's fighting Gervonta Davis, somebody who's a quarter of his size. I don't even know what's going on. Has Eddie Hearn been